Test one, test. Hi. Oh, good. Do I sound good? People can actually hear me? That's good. That's good. I'm just getting ready as we we're gonna let people come in here, but hopefully, guys, this is gonna be pretty interactive, where you guys can ask questions, I can answer them live. You guys can request certain reptiles to see, and hopefully, you guys are following me on Instagram because I have a couple costumes that I want to give you guys a chance to vote here in the chat. That you'll be able to tell me which costume you want me to choose and which reptile I have that you guys would want me to put it on for the one of the photo shoots coming up for October. We still got like, I don't know, what do we have, like 8 more days till Halloween, so that should be pretty cool. For Dookie, I will post that before the end. I have it downloaded on my computer. I have to reopen it, get the official name of the study so I can send you where to get it. It's an amazing study. They did 4 years. They went everywhere, every amphibian, every lizard, every tortoise, everything. They monitored it in the wild. They took UV gradients. They registered the biomes, everything. And unfortunately, I'll get into that more, but there's a good reason why that's really important, and that almost, I would say 99% of reptile keepers avoid. They don't know that it exists. Maybe they Google what to do, and or they guess, and then they pass out bad information. But so this study actually gets it 100% right. And the people who follow the study, that's why they have bearded dragons that live to be 18, 19 years old, not 5 years old. So, but we can hit more on that later when more people join. People are just starting to flow in, but it's really important. It's a huge undertaking because it lists more than just temperatures and nighttime temperatures. It's giving you air and basking temperatures in the summer, in the morning and at night. And then the same thing in the winter, in the morning and like it covers everything. It covers light hours. It covers the UV gradient. There's charts. It's so easy to follow. But all the experts don't even know it exists. That's how you know they're experts. Because if you disagree with them, you're wrong. Why are they right? Because they're experts. Yeah, I'll take requests. We'll pull through different reptiles for this video, guys. We're just going to let a few more people come in, and then save your questions. Save your questions. I'm going to answer all the questions. I see some people are throwing in questions now. We're just going to give it a couple more minutes before we get rolling. I'm making a few edits, let all the stragglers get in, because I think the official post said 12:05. And hopefully this goes good and I can do it more often, for maybe 30 minutes to an hour every other week or something like that. Because I get a lot of questions asked in the comments of videos and I can't always answer them all. And there's 1,000 comments and people ask the same question over and over. So, yeah, the experts are important. Who knew, right? What a concept. What a concept. So there's a lot. I have a lot kind of planned. It's really nothing formal. We'll go through a lot. There's a couple. Unfortunately, for today's episode, I can't bring out any of my snakes for you guys because they feed, in different days, and they just ate yesterday for their cycle, so it's too soon to handle them. You really got to wait. So if you wanted to see snakes, not this live stream, but in another live stream, we'll be able to get them in there. Hello there, fellow lizard people. And just once again, hi to everyone. About another minute, and then I'll pull well, I guess we can vote now. While I'm answering questions, someone requested Simba. If you guys want in the chat, what reptile would you like me to pull out first for the first segment here? While we go over, and specifically, if you have questions on certain reptiles that I have, like bearded dragons or monitor lizards, if you want to wait to ask those questions when that particular lizard or amphibian or just reptile in general is out, that would be perfect. Simba, Ripley. Okay, Lynn, Ripley has been rehomed, and she was rehomed a while ago. She's still alive. She's very well. She's with personal friends of mine, but she's doing good. You may have missed that announcement. Simba. Everyone for Simba, one for Tortellini. Okay, so okay. I knew it. So we'll start with Big Boy. We'll get him in here. Then I'll take some generic questions and then questions particularly on, Mr. Bernard. Maybe he'll make an appearance. I'll have to check on him because I know he was getting ready to go into brumation soon, but as long as he's not brumating yet, we can take him out. Let me grab Simba. We'll put him down, and then you guys can ask me general questions about me, and if they're reptile-specific questions about monitor lizards, it doesn't just have to be Savannah monitors. It can be any monitor. Let me grab him. Oh, he's not going to like this probably. Let me get his chew toys. There. Okay. There we go. You guys wanted him. We're going to get him. New to the channel. Simba, saw you were live. Just want to drop by. Love your channel. Thank you, Big Stepper. New to the channel. Thanks for the update. Lynn, Ripley is doing great, and you will see her in an upcoming video. It's just been, our schedules have been really hectic, and with COVID lockdowns, so there's been a little bit of a pain. Oh, hi, buddy. All right, so we got Simba out for you guys. We'll give him his little chew toy. That way he can stay occupied. There you go. And you guys can ask questions about monitor lizards. You can ask questions about me. You can ask questions about Simba. He's not going to care in the world. He's just going to sit here and hang out. Hi, look at the boy. Yeah, Simba, for anyone who doesn't know, he's a Savannah monitor. He turned 3 years old in June, so he's coming up on to be 3.5. He's about 13 pounds, and hopefully I want to get him to live into his late 20s, so we'll see. And in my opinion, he's one of the best monitor lizards you can have. Unfortunately, when you watch all the people online, they're going to tell you the Savannah monitor is top 3 worst monitor lizard to have, which is unfortunate. Jessica asked, do you have any pets aside from reptiles? I do. I have an indoor rabbit, and I have a guinea pig. Does Simba alligator death roll with balls too? So he will alligator death roll with anything that he's chewing on if you're providing resistance to it. So you have to, in essence, be playing tug of war because you have to be pulling it away from him gently. And by doing his death roll, he's trying to get control of the object. It doesn't matter if it's the ball, his dog bone rubber squeaky toy that he destroyed and doesn't squeak anymore. the tug of war rope, but it has to be something pulling resistance on it. How much does this rescue cost you to run, say, per year? You know, it costs a lot of money, actually, more revenue than I bring in from YouTube or Patreon, although all that stuff does help. And when you buy Reptile stuff through any of my affiliate links on Amazon, you know, they send me a little kickback. But just for instance, like the electric bill with all the heaters, the different UV lights, heat mats, misters, foggers, etc. is about $500 a month just in electricity, just for the reptiles. So it's not a cheap hobby, but it's an important thing to me, and I'm very thankful enough to have a very good job where I can cover those expenses and still, you know, live. But it's important to me because reptiles don't, you know, how often on TV do you see the commercials about donate to this pet center and it's a cat or a dog and they're injured? Well, what about reptiles? I often see them burned. I often see them being taken care of very poorly, and there's no outreach for them. Now, there have been getting more and more popular bird rescues, right? People with their birds, big birds, small birds. But where is it for your exotic pet? It's nowhere to be seen. And I think the real reason for that is, though, they can't, there's not enough people who actually know how to take care of these guys correctly there. And, you know, you would have to put them all in separate tanks. Simba needs different heat than, let's say, Smog, my black throat monitor. And, you know, they need different lift spaces and things. So it would be really hard for a big company who doesn't know anything about it to do it correctly, which is really unfortunate. My 3-month-old white bearded dragon may have DVM. I'm getting mixed information from the vet. Can my you know, DVM is interesting. I would really like to know what the mixed information is, and are you getting mixed information from the same vet? See, this leads into the problem, guys, and maybe I can show it in another video of bearded dragon diseases, because there's a lot of reptile vets in general. So to become a vet, you normally have no reptile training whatsoever. Okay, sometimes people will take a 1-day, very generic, very old style-y taught with old information class on reptiles, and then that's how they become a reptile vet. Or a vet that feels confident to work on reptiles, which is such a joke. Micro hides his eye red. Oh no. How bad would a bite from Simba be? Okay, great question. And I get this a lot about, you know, what happens if they bite you, and same thing with snakes that are non-venomous snakes. So maybe I'm going to try to pick Simba up so you can see inside his mouth, but I'm going to start by telling you a bite from Simba would almost do nothing, okay? And there's a reason why. See if we can get in there. Yeah, that's not bad. Do you see inside his mouth there? Do you see, even as he holds that ball, did you guys see any teeth? So Savannah monitors do have teeth, right? But they are so small, like under a millimeter. They do not chew their food. They just grab the thing and they suck it down whole. That's how they eat. They don't rip stuff off the carcass. If they need to try to make something smaller to eat, they'll hold it in their mouth and they'll use their claws to kind of try to kind of shred it up. But yeah, they don't. So if Simba were to bite you, you probably wouldn't even draw any blood. Now, he's got some bite power, so you probably would get a bruise after the bite. And that's a Savannah monitor in general. Simba, like if you look, he's chewing this ball toy for senior dogs. He can barely crush it flat, which is why you have to get your monitor lizard a very soft toy, this type of monitor, because they just don't have a powerful bite. That's why they mostly eat bugs and things that they can just grab and swallow whole. What's his diet consist of? Simba looks very healthy. Okay, so I've talked about diets for Savannah monitors before, and I have it in a video, and so I won't go super in-depth on it, but there is a problem with Savannah monitors, particularly because they typically die of fatty liver disease because they have a bad diet. They typically only live to be about 1 year old when kept as pets. And people will feed them a lot of meat. Savannah monitors, their digestive system is very slow, and they cannot eat fatty foods once they become full adults. So once they're full adults, they should really transition to mostly bugs with the occasional piece of very low fat meat as a treat, very lean beef, chicken that's been de-skinned, or turkey, again, de-skinned, so it's very lean, or fish without the skin is preferable, but they could have some with it. But he eats a good amount of bugs about once a week. And that's the other thing with Savannah monitors, is that you'll always think they're hungry because they're always going to want to eat food, but they don't need it. He's got some fat. He's got good fat in his tail. Hi, you want to give me a hug? I know, he's still a good boy. He's got good fat in his tail, and he could probably, in the wild, they really only eat for 4 months out of the year. So that's a big thing. We have a local reptile rescue where I live. Doki doki, that is awesome. I would love to know where you live. I would love if you ever went there and took some pictures of the environment or some video. You could send it to me. That would be really good. Do they have good eyesight, Alexis asks. Yes, Alexis. Simba can actually see from quite far away, which is really impressive. If we're outside on the opposite side of the lawn, it's about, I don't know, maybe 50 feet. If I start throwing his ball around, he will see it, get into hunting mode really low, and then come sprinting across the grass for it. So they definitely can see from far away. At night, his vision is not great. They don't have night vision. What's your feeding schedule for your African bullfrogs? Mine has finally reached adult size. The feeding schedule is a little bit sporadic because it depends on what I feed. I tend to feed him 1 to 2 days a week now. He'll get either dubia roaches, or he'll get a piece of lean meat that I'm feeding everyone else, whether, again, skinless chicken, skinless turkey, or a piece of fish. They don't burn calories like we do, especially African bullfrogs that kind of just sit. African bullfrogs are so chill. He'll just sit there and relax his entire life in a little mud puddle, and that's all they need. That as long as they're kept warm. Warm and the mud puddle stays wet. The lad, I'm excited for when Chester's that big. Oh, yeah. So, Red, a lot of people have, off of seeing Simba, picked up young Savannah monitors for a pet. And guys, they are one of the easier monitors to take care of, especially if you get your own bug colony. If you get your own dubia roach colony, you can feed these guys and it'll cost you like nothing. One thing to note, though, is the males get kind of long, but if you're lucky to get a female, they're only about 1/3 the size. They would, like, their head would start here, their body would end here, and their tail would go to here. So instead of being 4 feet, they'd be 2.5 feet, which is kind of nice. So almost like the bite would bruise more than, yeah, exactly. Almost like a beak bite would be, yeah. Dad, I'm playing, leave me alone. Yeah, sometimes he doesn't like to be pet when he's playing. So Simba actually spent all day out of his tank yesterday. He crawled into my bed at about 5 p.m. and went to sleep. And then he stayed in the bed until about 10 a.m. this morning. Maybe 9:30 a.m. when he signaled that he had to use the potty, because Simba's completely potty trained. He'll signal when he wants to use the bathroom, and then I can bring him to his bathroom spot if he can't get to it himself. I forgot to ask, what's your ideal portion with your frogs when they're fed? My ideal portion when I'm feeding bugs is feed them as many bugs as they'll eat. When I'm feeding meat, I feed something that's about the size of their stomach, so maybe 1 inch by 2 inch. That way they can slurp it down, because again, they don't chew. My vet has given her fluids on antibiotic under the skin and dewormed. She has barely grown or gained weight. She said she can't test because she can't draw blood. What is she so dehydrated? That's why she can't draw blood. It's interesting because bearded dragons have a really thick vein in their tail where blood is drawn. So if her tail is so skinny or dehydrated, she won't be able to hit the vein. It's on the bottom side of their tail, right in the middle. Speaking of meat, I've given my small lad meat twice, once a month. Yeah, that's pretty good. You can actually give him a little bit more meat because he's still growing, so he's not storing any of his fat yet. Do you have any tip how to tame a monitor? So I do have some videos that I did when I was taming Simba. But But the biggest thing, the biggest thing is you got to spend time. You've got to talk with them. You've got to hang out with them. Never open the tank, put your hand in. That's fine. Go to pet your monitor. If your monitor runs away, let it run away. Don't force it to pick up. And if you're in there and you're petting it and then it's done and it walks away from you, let it walk away. Your monitor will become your friend really quickly if it knows that when it is done wanting to hang out with you, you're going to let it be done. You're not going to force it. In Northern Ontario, the rescue has been closed, I believe, because of COVID, but he does a lot of live shows. Okay, so it's like, yeah, it's done by a man. That makes sense. Please explain why you should not prevent dragons from brumating. So bearded dragons need to brumate to build energy for the upcoming year, okay? That is what they do. They have to relax, save up their energy, and then they're going to use that energy. If you end brumation early, if you take him out during him or her during brumation, you're going to get a sick dragon. We'll talk more on that when I pull a dragon out. We'll keep Simba out for about 5 more minutes. Take a while to turn them down. I'm going to do it for 2 minutes. The other thing with monitors, guys, hi, buddy. The other thing with monitors is, right, their head gets really big, so their brain is getting larger. So as monitors get older, if you've had them as babies, it is very easy to tame them because they become very smart. How do you potty train Simba? Okay, I can't spoil that yet, but a great question, because so far successfully I've attempted to potty train 2 of my monitor lizards, Simba and Smog. It's 100% worked with both of them. I just finished potty training Sweet Tooth. So far, no problems, and I want to try on 2 more of my monitor lizards. And if it's successful, then I'll make a video on it. I'll probably publish a study on it because a lot of people have asked, and it's worked 100% of the time. Not only with 4 lizards so far, but different species, and I can only test so many of what I have. Do you have any insects as pets? I don't have any insects as pets. I have a dubia roach colony, but those are just strictly for feeders. I used to have a praying mantis. They live short lives, and I was fascinated by it when it would molt and everything, but then it died, within the year, and that was it. I caught it from outside. Oh, yeah. So Jessica, not only can Simba play with toys, bearded dragons love toys. Bearded dragons love stuffed animals, and bearded dragons love little chew balls that they can play on. A Double Dragon Hotel did a great video of her male bearded dragon. So bearded dragons are so smart. They'll watch you play with toys, and then they'll want to do it as well. They will want to learn. So it's pretty fascinating. When is the video of all the upgraded enclosures? All the upgraded enclosures are not in yet, so I can only do a little bit on the weekend. But things are moving. All the electrical is done, which is nice. Completely separate 20-amp circuits run to each room that are, just on themselves. They're just going to be dedicated. There's battery backup, and then there's emergency power in the winter for those rooms. So a lot of the reptile rooms, there was a lot of back-end infrastructure that needed to be done that won't even be seen, unfortunately, but needed to be done before all the enclosures go in. That's finally all done. And it was done by me on the weekend every couple hours when I had time. So, but now the quicker part is coming, the framing and the new tanks, and everyone on Patreon is going to be able to name the new tanks, the new environments, the people who get upgraded. So it's going to be pretty cool. Just wanted to say hello. Hi, Jamie. How are you doing? He's so chill, entertained. Yeah, he's pretty good. I mean, I let him wander the house most of the day. I just open his tank up in the morning because they thermoregulate anyways. So he comes out and he hangs out. When he wants to go in and heat up, he goes in and heats up, or he goes in and swims in his bath. He can pretty much do whatever he wants. I really only contain him to the tank when I'm going to be gone or when it's feeding time, just because I don't want him to make a mess, drag his food everywhere. How do you get all the money you need to care? So thankfully, YouTube revenue is a little bit. I'm going to say a little bit. It's a little bit. But if you watch the ads, it helps a lot. And then I can't thank Patreon enough, because Patreon really is supplementing a good amount of the reptile care. And I'm so thankful for it. And then I have Amazon affiliate links in the comment section or in the description section of all my videos. So if you need to buy supplies for your reptile, these are supplies I use. They're on Amazon. They're not expensive, but it's just, if you buy a $2 bottle of calcium multi-powder, I get like 5 cents. So it adds up. But then I have my real life job. Can you make a video on mercury vapor bulb for my bearded dragon? I can. I talked about them a little bit. I will be very upfront. All of my bearded dragons have mercury vapor bulbs for their basking in UVB. And you know, I haven't had a bearded dragon die that I've had as a pet under 16 years old. Now, sometimes rescues, guys, they don't live as long. You don't know their situation. But Mongo is estimated to be between 13 and 14 years old. We know for sure he's 12. For sure we know. But the original owner wasn't really sure when she got him. It's kind of a mess. So we go on a little bit of the low side. So I'm going to put Simba away, and then I'm going to bring out probably, I don't know, 1 or 2 bearded dragons, so you can ask more bearded dragon related questions. And again, you can keep the generic questions coming. I just have to get this from him. Can I have this? Hi, can I have this now? You get to go back now. Can I have this? Let me have this. Hey. Can I? No? Simba, can I, please? Why are you doing this? Come on. Ugh, good boy. Sometimes, guys, you have to show them who's in charge. All right, I'm going to switch him out. Is there a particular bearded dragon you guys want me to bring? If I'm bringing a male, I'm going to just bring one male. If I bring the females, I'll bring both. But if you want to request a certain bearded dragon, I will bring a certain bearded dragon. We'll give you guys, like, I don't know, 30 seconds to throw in, since I know it's like 15 seconds between each comment. Mongo, Johnny Cage. Yeah, Simba likes to be in charge. He's a butt. Johnny. I knew Johnny Cage was going to get votes. I just knew it. He's a freaking psychopath. And for some reason, people like psychopaths. Phoenix spelled right, Phoenix spelled wrong. It is Phoenix with an F, guys. She's named after the character Praetor Phoenix from StarCraft. Phoenix, 3 Phoenix. Anybody else? Quick. It looks like if it's Phoenix, it looks like it's going to be Phoenix and Archimedes, assuming that they're awake. It is noon. And then those will be the last 2 that we have out and answer some questions. It's okay, Peggy. It's okay. All right, we'll go get those 2 dragons, and all right, Phoenix. And since Phoenix is a girl, I'll get my other female Archimedes, and I'll show you some differences, because Archimedes has been my pet since birth, and Phoenix is, was a rescue when she was full-grown adult. Say goodbye. You want to wave goodbye? That's a good wave. All right. Let's see. I have a really, really important thing that I feel like it would be best to ask you what I can do. You can always ask Endercat. We can go through. Love from Vietnamese. Okay. Thank you for that. Bye, Simba. Yep, there's goodbye. Love your reptile videos. Thank you, Debbie. I love watching your videos. Mongo is so cool and fat. Let's add that in there. But it's Mongo with a G. The video with bearded dragon adolescence is my, yeah. So I have a 1-year-old bearded dragon named Petra. And I have a problem with picking at her shed. I cannot seem to figure out how to control myself. Oh my gosh. You're one of those people that picks scabs. You need to just leave the shed alone. That's what you need to do. You need to leave the shed alone. Okay, so we have two bearded dragons here, Archimedes and Phoenix. All right, Phoenix is a little bit more confrontational because, again, she was a rescue. Archimedes has been my pet since birth. She's just the most chilled, laid-back dragon. We hang out all the time. I put her in my little bearded dragon sling, and we just walk through the day and do nothing. You can look at Archimedes' tail. It's much longer. They're about even lined up. Phoenix had some tail rot. Phoenix is stunted. Archimedes, the tip of Archimedes' tail got whipped when she was a kid, so they almost always break off the very tips of their tail. But she's in perfect health, and this is what a healthy bearded dragon should look like. Another thing I'd like to point out is hopefully you guys watched my video on bearded dragon owners. It's a Facebook group. The B, the D, and the O are capital. That's what's key because there's one that's lowercase. And that crazy moderator, and by the way, if you're in that group, get the heck out of it. It's horrible. This is a perfect example of what can happen to bearded dragons' nails if you don't take care of them. Archimedes' nails are nice and short. They're really good. Phoenix's nails, well, she's missing part of her finger here and a nail, right? You can see that. But then she's almost got corkscrew nails. Like, look at this inner toe right here on that foot. It's because her nails got too big, this one up here, at one point, and she was putting too much weight on it, and she actually damaged and deformed the nail bed. So when I got her, I cut these nails way back to perfect length, and they like erupted like dust. There was no blood because the live tissue is not always at the hypodermic tip. You got to identify the live tissue and cut to that. Before that, you don't want to cut it. Sometimes accidents happen. It's not the end of the world. Greetings from the Netherlands. Hello, 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 Maureen. Thank you. I love that people from all over the world watch my videos. It's really important to me because there's reptile keepers, guys. We're not a hugely known community like German Shepherd keepers or dogs, but we have reptiles everywhere, and it's so nice. I get scared of the beard when it's black. Debbie, don't worry about a black beard. It was used to think that a black beard only was something bad, but actually the black beard just means that bearded dragons are high in an emotional state, and that can be a really good emotional state. Like when Mongo gets hornworms, his beard goes pitch black when he sees them because they're his favorite. Mongo's beard also turns black at night because he's dreaming about something. I don't know about what. But he's crazy. But it used to be an old way of thinking, Debbie, was when their beard went black, they were mad, they were angry, they were upset. That's been disproven. That's very old information, though, that some people still think. And don't get me wrong, anger and stress is an emotion, but it's not the only emotion that can turn their beard black. They're so beautiful. Of course, I like them the best. Enjoying all your videos. I've learned so much from you. FYI. Hi from northern Minnesota. Hi, Katie. Or Kate, I guess. Sometimes Kate with an E is Kate, sometimes E. Snakes at Sunset. Okay, very good. That's an interesting place to buy from. They're pretty decent, actually, in Florida there. Shipping sometimes is the big problem. Oh, wow. I didn't realize Mongo had a red beard. This is Phoenix. This is Archimedes. Like something to help myself realize that I need to stop. Ender, that is not a reptile specific problem, so I'm not sure how I could help with it. I love these critters. I cannot own a reptile for many reasons, so I live vicariously through it. Yeah, thank you, April. Thank you very much. Cam Canyon is a great guy, but man, he's got a lot of stuff. I don't know how he can do it. Thankfully, he doesn't seem to have anything that's too specialized. Mostly are tortoises, so it's probably a little bit easier. If he had more specialized monitor lizards, lots of them would be. How's Blackthroat 2 doing? Blackthroat 2 is doing great. Blackthroat 2 is about 99% sure that Blackthroat number 2 is named Smog, and about 99% sure he's a male. Blackthroat number 1, I don't think we've revealed the name from. You can look Smog up on Instagram on my channel. He's going to be up tomorrow in his Halloween post. You'll never guess what it is, but it's pretty good. I pet her dearly, and I want her shed to just come off. Yeah, you just have to leave her shed, Ender, and it will come off. What happened to Ripley? Ripley is great. Ripley was rehomed. I talked about it in a video. She's rehomed with personal friends of mine that don't live too far away, and she's going to get an updated video. She's alive. She's well. She has 2 teenage daughters that she's on the tank in the middle of them between their 2 beds. They share a bedroom. So she's doing quite great. In Munich, Germany. Now, I'm not shocked. There are Chi Love Chi. There are a lot of reptile rescues overseas. The thing is, in the United States here, we don't have a lot of very professional reptile care. There are certain areas, certain zoos, and southern states, Texas, Florida, really good reptile vets. If you're in the northern area, you've got a real hard problem in most states, not all, in most. And every once in a while you can find one, but that's like saying, if I live in Ohio and in the top, northwest corner, there's a good vet, while I live in the bottom right corner, southeast, it might be a 5, 6, 7, 8, 10-hour drive to get to that vet, even though it's in the same state. So it's a big problem here in the States. I've been in love with Phoenix. Thank you, Peggy. She's doing great. Can we see your face? Maybe. Hi, take my name. Okay, we'll get right on that. It's my first time watching something live. Oh, this is my first time going live, so that's good. Gorgeous Beardies reminds me of that. I'm really happy. That's from you. No problem. Can we see your Beardies play with toys? They might not out of their tank. Bearded dragons, normally, the reason why people really love them is they're really chill outside of the tank. Like, most of them won't even eat outside of the tank. So when you get them out, they just like to hang out and chill. That's why they're such a good pet. I have a 2-year-old that has recently recovered from gout, okay, and is still on kidney meds. He has great appetite, but has only been eating if I hand feed. The way that I did it, and because when I got Phoenix, she would only eat with hand feeding. I would put a clump of food in her bowl, and then I would like hand feed, but I would have my fingers like in the bowl, and I would be moving them around in the bowl. So she would take it from my hand, but my hand was kind of in the bowl holding it, Kelly, and that worked really well with her. You're an excellent teacher. We love you from Baton Rouge. Well, thank you, Debbie. So the reason I made this channel was not for money. I made this channel to help educate because of how much old information that's been disproven is out there and people were going by. So to educate and help and to bring more awareness to reptiles and how they have feelings and how, you need to take care of them. Even if at a show, a normal bearded dragon costs $15, it's not a throwaway pet. This is a pet that can live 20 years, okay? This is a pet that can easily live 15 plus years. So shouldn't be dying at 5, as in certain Facebook groups thinks it's normal. And they cheer, oh, they lived to 5, it lived a great life. No, a bearded dragon living to 5 is like a human dying at 20 years old. It's not even remotely near normal expected end of life. Can you help me? My bearded dragon doesn't even from his bowl anymore, and he's only 4. How do I? You can try putting some, Allie, you can try putting some bee pollen on it, but again, for me, I had to sprinkle food. Some of my bearded dragons like raised bowls that are like cups, and some of them like more flat trays. So, maybe you just have to change the bowl around. Maybe it doesn't like that bowl. I know, for instance, Phoenix will not eat from a raised bowl. She needs one of the low-lipped trays, and then she will devour food. Archimedes will only eat from a low bowl. Johnny Cage will only eat from a low tray type bowl. Mongo and Mr. Freeze will only eat from like a cup type bowl. So you can try to switch that up. How often do you tend to adopt out rescues? I adopt rescues very often. If it's not a unique morph or it's not something that's going to be a good ambassador, I try to adopt it out to a specialty home. But just remember, a lot of the things I take in are specialty. So adopting, for me, someone that a reptile might need specialized care, it really has to go to a specialized home. Quick question about mercury vapor bulbs and sunburn risk. Mine's 7 or 8 inches away from that spot. So Parker, it depends on your wattage. And if you're worried about sunburn risk, again, that comes from the UV. You really need a solar meter. 8 to 10 inches is not bad for an 80 to 100 watt bulb, especially if there's a screen in between, not to prevent the UV, but to prevent the dragon from hitting the bulb. But mercury vapor comes in a ton of different wattages from 80 watts up to like 200 watts. So, and they really push down heat. Really good bulbs. Carly is a runner. Yeah, some like to, you know, have fun when they get out. Just most of the time they'll just be chill when they're full-grown adults. Hello from San Diego. Hi, how you doing, Nina? Do you have any bearded dragon morphs? No, I don't, because I'm not buying for pets, so I'm getting as rescues, right? I'm really taking in surrenders. I'm healing them back up, and I'm adopting them out. Dude, Phoenix, you're just so happy. You need to just stop smiling at the camera. Bar. Let's see here. Love your channel content. Before I found you, I never considered a reptile before as a pet for myself. I really like a bearded dragon now. My husband might let me. Sarah, bearded dragons are awesome. Awesome, awesome pets. So kind, caring, and so intelligent. Bearded dragons love to watch what you do. Put the tank in an area you're going to constantly be in, a room that you're going to be heavily trafficked in. They watch you. They learn from you. They love to watch TV. They love to watch YouTube. They're so intelligent. I had a small chameleon. I had to leave for a week. Sis was looking after her. I came back. Her right arm was frozen. Vet couldn't fix. Could Sis have caused that? You know, chameleons are interesting pets. They're very fragile. The smaller chameleons, they're very fragile. So he could have fell. He could have damaged it. I would like to think it happened naturally. That's one of the only reasons why I love chameleons. They were probably my favorite lizard, but they're just so fragile. Where are you going, Archimedes? They're just so fragile. How did you know how to properly care for Reptar when you were so young? Do you think kids can care? You know, Wendy, that's a story that's very long. A lot of it was, so I will say this, for bearded dragons, there was much better information on them from the 70s. There was a time where bearded dragons lived very long lives. Then the mass breeding started and the plethora of wrong information started to get disseminated. And there's basically two reasons for this. You know, they started really hitting the pet world in the pet stores, the big brand pet stores, PetSmart, things like that. And those stores were getting very poorly taken care of creatures. And they didn't want to tell you that this creature's life expectancy was so long because they felt like people didn't want to commit to a 20-year dragon. They felt like people would be more friendly to commit to a 5-year, lizard. So a lot of wrong information, Wendy, started to get disseminated. If you look at the older information, a lot of it is more accurate than the newer stuff that came out, and with the internet spread like wildfire. So I was going to the library. Remember when you went to the library and taking out old books on reptiles and things like that? And this was stuff from breeders from the 60s and 70s that successfully cohabitated 10 bearded dragons together in a hierarchy, and did more research of the bearded dragons in the wild that actually live in groups and things like that. Because it's harder to take care of them like that, pet stores started to say, you can't keep them together. Well, can I ask you, I have Phoenix and Archimedes together right now. What's happening? Nothing, right? So the general fear with cohabitation, for one, is that they could get in a fight. Well, guess what? When you keep two dogs together, they can get in a fight. When you keep two cats together, they can get in a fight. When you keep two humans together, they can get in a fight. And hi. So this is Phoenix. She's using Archimedes to look over the edge. So when you keep two of any animal, even fish, even my turtles will nip at each other. Fish will attack each other. There's aggressive fish. There's calm fish. So it's very weird when for certain lizards, they say you can't keep them together because they could get in a fight. Well, congratulations. When I was younger, me and my brother would get in a fight. So there is a hierarchy. You can cohabitate certain dragons together. Delassa, you bring up a great point. When they are together, again, these are smart lizards. they can cause trouble. Like in this case, they would use each other to escape, but my turtles do that too. My turtles will stack on top of Big Bertha to get out of the tank. So I'm doing a study, not being released yet, but if you read all the older stuff on bearded dragons, people were having their dragons live together flawlessly in big groups, and they would develop a hierarchy of this is the alpha male and this is the alpha female, and the alpha male only breeds the alpha female, etc. Now, there was some fear about breeding and things like that, and the problem also that happened is genetically, we started inbreeding to get all these mutations, and we started to get weaker dragons that, just for some reason couldn't lay eggs correctly, and egg binding and things like that. Hi. Mad at me already. I just look at her and she opens her mouth in anger. But so Wendy, just so you know, there's a lot of older information that's so much more right than our newer information. Our newer information was really dumbed down to make things appear easy, and that's it. Mine's 160 watt. That's a Parker. That's a hot bulb. That's a hot bulb. Have you measured the basking temperature? I'm interested to see what it is at 8 inches with 160 watt. All of my bearded dragons, I keep the basking bulb about 10 inches away, and they're 100 watt bulbs. And their basking spot gets to about 90, flawless, perfect amount of UV, because mercury vapor bulbs blast out UV. That's what's so good with them, is you can actually keep a mercury vapor bulb far away and blast the UV down. But if you get over their Ferguson zone, but don't worry, bearded dragons owner groups, they don't know what Ferguson zone is. You will blast out way too much UV, and you can really damage their eyes. You can make the shedding bad, and things like that. Kari's 3.5 years old. 3.5 is still young. I mean, that's a young adult. So you shouldn't be surprised about her energy. I mean, I really hope someone who's like 22 years old in real life, like your dragon would be, has energy still. The dragons are listening to questions. Dragons love to learn. They love it. They're so gorgeous. We need more people like you. Well, thank you, Endercat. I really try. I know. Can you stop going on top of her just to look outside the tank? There. Now you can go look outside, but you don't have to climb on top of her. Good Lord. What are you doing? By doing a study, do you mean like actual published study? Yes, I do, probably, Bees. What a great question. Yeah, if you have two healthy bearded dragons, they will get along fine together, Double Dragon Hotel. But here's the other thing, and this is why cohabitation sometimes doesn't work and I'll make a video on cohabitation, but here's why sometimes it doesn't work as pets. So in the wild, when they cohabitate, if one of them is a jerk, the group wants to kick and disassociate the jerk out of the group, okay? So in the wild, they're open area, and the jerk will be disassociated. He will be exiled. When you have tanks and you have a jerk, you really have to monitor to see in the beginning if the people are going to be a jerk, whether it's two females or a male and female, because they cannot separate themselves. The jerk can't get kicked out because the tank is only so big. And so either he's going to bully people or he's going to get bullied, right? The odd one out. So if you see that they don't, just like dogs though, there's a pack mentality, and sometimes you have dogs that are accepted in the pack and sometimes you don't. So with lizards, the tank is only so big, the enclosure. If you see that the lizard has not been accepted into the pack, you need to remove the problematic lizard. That's the big key. I'm sorry, I feel like just a random. No, Endercat, don't worry about that. These people seem to ignore their cats, or ignore that cats are not likely to get along without careful. Well, again, there's no difference with reptiles, though. Absolutely. A lot of times I see people talk about how bored, like their bearded dragon is glass surfing, or the bearded dragon just sits in the tank, is healthy, but it sits there and does nothing. I'm tell you why it's doing that. Because it's bored. It's bored. Mentally, it's bored. It's not stimulated. And when you've got other bearded dragons and you introduce food, maybe they compete for the food. If you release live bugs in the tanks, maybe they hunt them together, so there's fun going on. There's stimulation, there's enrichment. Please talk about, Wendy, I feel like I've done so many videos on brumation, but Yes, bearded dragons, guys, when the air pressure gets low, that normally happens in the winter, although not always, your bearded dragon will know that the year is ending. It normally happens at year's end. And so sometimes, guys, people will say, hey, I live where it's hot and we don't have snow. Why does it brumate? It does not brumate because of the temperature. It brumates because of the pressure. So what happens is your bearded dragon will know the end of the year is here, and it knows that it doesn't always need to, but it feels like if the bearded dragon feels like it needs to rest to build energy for the upcoming year. So your bearded dragon doesn't mean it's going to go to sleep. It's not going to hibernate, but it becomes extremely lazy internally. Almost all of its metabolism shuts down. Its blood flow becomes very slow, and they become lazy. They typically want to go to the cool side of the tank. Sometimes they'll go in a cave. Sometimes not. Mongo's too fat. He doesn't like the cave. He just lays on a cold slab in the back of his tank and just becomes lazy. And you just leave them there. You don't feed them. You don't take them out to give them a bath. Goodbye, Archimedes, going to the bath. You just leave them there. That way they can relax and build up energy. That's what you do. And it's really important that you allow them to do this. There you go. Sometimes people feed during brumation. That's really bad because, again, their metabolism has shut down. So, you know what? You just need to let them relax. That's the big deal. Sometimes people freak out. Again, your bearded dragon does not always do this. Your bearded dragon does this if it feels like it needs to save excess energy for the upcoming year. Thank you. Phoenix was a lot of work to get up, a lot of sleepless nights, but luckily she got there. It's definitely in the high 4 zone. I know that much. She's doing well, 17 inches at 18 months. That's pretty good, Parker. Yeah, you just want to make sure it's not too high, and if you have a screen, perhaps you're diluting it somehow, reflecting some of the UV up. It's interesting. Congrats on the study. Please post the DOI on Discord/Patreon at least. You guys are going to see a lot of that. I have to thank everyone who's on Patreon. Especially if you're on Patreon, you should join the Discord. We're really active. A lot of questions, lots of pictures, a lot goes on there. And sometimes it's easier to just put a one-sentence thing than making a huge Patreon blog. And my time is so stretched, guys. We got to start wrapping up this live stream, too. I've got a lot to do. 62 people. That's good for my first live stream. I thought I'd get like 5 people. B2W, you really faced in one of those last videos. Yeah, kind of distorted through the glass. It's all right. It's not that I'm hiding my face. It's just that unlike all the other pet tubers, I'll call them, everyone is like such a big deal about themselves, not about the reptiles. Like a lot of these YouTube channels that do reptiles, especially, the freaking channel name is the person's real life name. Like, it shouldn't be about you. It should be about the animal, right? I always loved Steve Irwin, for example. The name of Steve Irwin's show was not Steve Irwin. It was some type of focus on what he was doing. Whether it's Most Dangerous or things like that. So these people make themselves the celebrities and make themselves the focal point over the actual creature. And I really hate that. One guy I really respected was Cesar Millan, the dog rescue guy, when he first had Dog Rescue, whatever the first name of his show was. And I thought this was great. It's about the dogs, not about him. Then he came out with a second show, which is Caesar 911. And I'm like, no, he fell for the drama of now it's about him. And then, bearded dragons love to climb. I recommend hammocks over just like cliff basking spots. They love to get on that hammock. They love to lay very vertically, sometimes even on their back, a lot of times in the sitting position, or a lot of times just straight vertical. Do you have warm-blooded pets? I've answered this before, but yes, I have a rabbit and a guinea pig. Once they die, I will not have any warm-blooded pets anymore. How many pets do you have in total? High 20s. The specialist I see for Drogon's gout and kidneys issues said to do everything I can to keep his head. Yep. So hydrotherapy is really good. Also, Kelly, if you can find them as treats, you should be feeding every other day tart cherries. I made a whole video on gout, but tart cherries, but not during brumation. I mean, I need to keep my beard. So infrared, yep, that's fine. No. Infrared is fine. I use ceramic heat emitters, which obviously that's what they emit. But you should only have the nighttime heat turn on, Kelly, if it gets colder than 60 degrees Fahrenheit. They really need to cool down at night. I have thermostats on all my Dragon's tanks in case a window or door gets left open or something, and it's set at 59 degrees to kick on. I also prefer channels about pets, not humans. I agree. Nice to meet you. It's nice to meet you too, Julie and Jamie. Exactly why I watch you, dude. You love the animals and so shows. Thank you, Benny. Yes, I do make the animals the focal points. Cedar Milan is also really out of date on his dog behavior info. Well, that's interesting. You're an amazing source of info for taking care of reptiles. Good, sir. Blue heart, sunglasses, thumbs up. Very nice. I'm from Ukraine, BTW. Oh, how's it going up there? Hey, do you know if red light, halogen lights hurt snakes' eyes? I saw a comment once. You know, that's a very interesting question. There's people who have done it for years and have had no problems. Then one guy does it and it has a problem and everyone believes that it's bad. I personally, Catherine, have not ever done it. I use ProHeat radiant heat panels for my snakes when they're in their full-size enclosures, but I like infrared heat. Tell us about rabbits sometimes. No, you don't want to know. You do great with all your animals care, put them into great videos. Thank you, dude. Keep it up. Nobody is as knowledgeable. I don't know about nobody is as knowledgeable, but I really try to focus on the knowledge. I'm 33 years old. My birthday is in 9 days. Congratulations. Is prune baby food for constipation? Yes. If you can get the beech nut, organic, solely prune puree baby food, or anything that's solely prunes, it works great. 2 milliliters a day for a few days, and you will have an explosion. Have fun with that. I always keep a jar in my pantry. You know, it's a little tub. You've seen me use it in one of the constipation videos because obviously when it's unopened, it doesn't need to be refrigerated. It's shelf stable for a long time. So you have it in case of emergencies. Love your rescue techniques. Thank you. I try to do practical techniques that I can show everyone. Can I have this hat back? Thank you. You don't need to rush to the vet for everything. And sometimes, guys, you know more than the vet. Constantly, I'm telling my reptile vet here what to do. Now I just use them to send out blood work. It's pretty simple. Draw the blood, or I'll draw the blood, but I can't do the lab work. Send it to the lab, have the lab send me the report, and then I'm going to look over the report. Are you a cat person or a dog person? You know, I'm definitely a reptile person, but growing up I did prefer dogs more than cats. But shockingly enough, we only had a cat. We didn't have a dog. What's your opinion on letting your bearded dragon? That's absolutely fine. Bearded dragons can interact with dogs. They can interact with cats, guinea pigs. It's absolutely fine as long as it's something that they cannot eat. Because remember, bearded dragons will eat everything. They'll eat mice. They'll eat fish, which is not good for them, but they'll eat it. So you do have to be careful that you're not letting it interact with like your hamster or your gerbil or something. Prunes, there's a lot of fiber in prunes, just like with humans. So prunes will give you diarrhea, which when you're constipated is what you want to happen. What fruit can you not feed beardies? So you tend to stay away from citrus because of the acid content, and they can have it in rare amounts. And also, if you're feeding often, you tend to stay away from watermelon because it's mostly just water. Now, if you have gout or you're trying to work with gout and your bearded dragon won't drink, watermelon is really good to hydrate them, flush the kidneys, because that's what you need to do if you see gout could be happening. Also, I recommend people get a blood test run on all their bearded dragons every 5 years. That will show you where are your uric acid levels. Do you maybe need to provide more water? Are you giving too much calcium? Are you giving up too much D3? I'm going to be going over a blood report for a bearded dragon in an upcoming video, guys. It's really important information. Love what you do. I've adored reptiles since I was young, but unfortunately have never owned one due to lack of knowledge. Well, hopefully I can give you some knowledge and you can maybe get a starter reptile like a bearded dragon or a leopard gecko or a crested gecko, something like that. That's not crazy. Easy to take care of. Just do not go to the bearded dragon owners group because you'll get nothing but wrong information. Just always have to plug that. My parents haven't gotten my beardy any meat in months. Instead, just tell me to feed him greens. My mom says greens. Yeah, you shouldn't. So, Naya, you really shouldn't be feeding the bearded dragon meat for protein. If you want to give them protein, you should be feeding bugs. They can get some meat when they're children, like babies, or they can get a treat like a rodent. But they should be small little baby mice. But really, those should be saved to very rarely once a month, or female who's just laid fertile or infertile eggs. A dragon can have figs, but figs are also they can only eat the inside. They can't eat the skin. So they can eat the flesh, the white flesh and the inner seed area, but they will, it has a tendency to give diarrhea. So you have to be careful about that. Yes, if you feed roaches citrus, it's okay because their metabolism will switch it down. That's why, though, it's important to not feed your roach and then instantly feed it to your dragon if you're gut loading. You want to feed 1 to 2 days before. That way that creature has had time to break down that food, and then your dragon eats it in the broken down form. I have a bearded dragon. She doesn't seem like crickets, just mealworms. Mealworms are high in fat. They're very good. It's like eating chocolate for humans. It tastes good. They're not good for your bearded dragon, though, especially if you have to feed large amounts. Because the bearded dragon cannot digest the outer shell of a mealworm. When you feed a superworm, you still have that same undigestible outer shell, but there's more meat inside of the superworm. It can be hard because a lot of times with pet stores, they'll feed more. You should be feeding a baby bearded dragon, mostly roaches and crickets, hornworms as well. And then when they get older, you start transitioning to veggies. Yeah, Phoenix is a natural. She's a good girl. All my bearded dragons are super tame. You can do a lot with them. They're really nice. They're not crazy. They don't whip around. They get handled every day. And they're just awesome to hang out with. I mean, that's just how it is. This is how. Have you ever been bitten by a dragon? I'm assuming you mean bearded dragon. And yes, I've been kind of bitten by a bearded dragon before while feeding. And bearded dragon's teeth, guys, this is really, and we're going to wrap it up here. They're basically one large bone at the top and one large bone at the bottom. I've gone over this in a video before. And then razor sharp spikes for teeth along these. I mean, razor sharp. And they will mess you up badly. It's not even that their bite is super strong, but it's that their teeth are so razor sharp. That is the problem. Super sharp, not just sharp, super sharp. All right, so I wanted to run this for an hour. So we're just over the hour mark. So I've been doing this for an hour and about 5 minutes. There was a little setup time. So if you have any last questions, that would be a great time. The other thing I want to bring up, guys, is if you watch my videos, it's really important that you throw a like on the video because it really helps the YouTube algorithm spread the video. And I can't say that enough. So if you please throw likes on the videos just to help spread it and bring awareness, That is probably the most important thing that you can do. And I'm going to take a picture of Phoenix right now because she's looking pretty BA. There. Okay. Got her. How do I tell when my bearded dragon goes from semi to full brumation? What? So when they're in brumation around the end of the year now, you should cut their light hours, should be down to 10 hours a day of light, not 12 to 14. And then you leave it like that. You still have light cycles, but you want to severely limit it. That's all. Archimedes just went to the back where that rock is and just laid down. What a lazy girl. My beardie has bitten me twice, but only because she thought it was... Yeah, it pretty much they're going for food. Yeah, I probably will be saving this live stream so people, if they want to go and look at the questions asked, I don't see light. Why not? The one dislike is that mod. Oh, for God's sakes. That mod lady, I don't like to talk bad about people, but man, she's so full of wrong information. And unfortunately, she does not care about the pets. She just cares about, the power that she has. So if you even try to correct her, you're just instantly shut down. There's no room to grow with her. I'm not always right on things. I love to see different people's opinions. And, that's how you grow. And all we're doing is trying to be better for the reptiles, not for, just to be gods. That's all. I get these little things often. A lot of times, too, for bearded dragons, if you get hats for like Barbie dolls and stuff like that, it works really well on them. Let me see if I have... Who had this last one? I think Archimedes was the one who wore this clown hat, but I don't see why we couldn't put it on Phoenix. I mean, this is what you get when you really work with your reptile. They feel so comfortable and so safe that you can put hats on them. They don't care. You can put... you can just really do anything, and it's really important to have that bond. That's what's key. Thank you. I'll take that back. All right. Yes, please leave a like on all the videos you watch. If you leave a comment, that helps. And if you share these videos with other people, it just helps grow the channel. And the channel's not about me. That's why my name's not in it. That's why my face isn't in it. It's about the reptile. That's what's key. So everyone, thanks so much for coming. I'm going to end this stream now. Okay, guys? Well, hopefully we'll do another stream and I can get some more chat moderators in here and, we get more. But 65 for the first one, that's good. 59 likes. So, not everyone left a like, but that's a lot of likes. But yeah, any videos you watch, please leave a like. It helps so much. Take care, everybody.